Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. This video I'll give my wrap up for the week of April 20th through April 26th. I completed one book this week, so I talk a little bit about that book. I read parts of 3 books, so I talk briefly about those 3 books. I talk about my upcoming reading plans. I talk about a Wooble I completed and one I started. I'll talk about a few other things going on in my life too. The book I completed was Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. I talked about it in a separate video, which you could look at if you're interested in my thoughts. Basically, I really liked it. I thought it was a great coming-of-age story that also talked about boyhood friendship, which was also part thriller, part mystery, with some horror thrown in, although the horror wasn't supernatural. It was more the horror that humans commit against other humans. Long book, but it didn't read like it. I continue to work through How to Break Up With Your Phone by Catherine Price. I'm about partway through the 30-day plan to break up with your phone. It's going pretty well. I backslide a little bit sometimes, but I am using it less when I'm out and about and at home too. And I set up the phone so that from 8 in the evening to 8 in the morning it goes to black and white, and I put it aside. Actually, there's a setting that the author suggests even during the day when you're acting with the phone that you turn it to black and white because it makes it less appealing. I did delete Instagram, but I ended up putting it back. Instagram's what I look at most of my phone. And I put it back though because it's difficult to do Instagram stories on a laptop. So I slipped some with Instagram, but I am doing pretty well. At the point I'm at now, the most recent day that I read, what it's suggesting is that a person just takes some time, a few minutes at a time maybe, where they just sit and don't do anything. It notes that there's a value to doing that. There's a value to occasionally being bored. It does have some value. That's something I kind of wanted to do anyway. Take some time to do stuff like that. Might not just be sitting off staring into space. It might be looking at the birds and animals out of my back window, but it's something I wanted to do anyway. So I would say it's going pretty well. This book, I think, is a really valuable book. I started to read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. This is the March read for the I'm with a Band book club, moderated by MJ. Reading This Life at M-J on here. Not too far in it. I am enjoying it. Jim, who's early on in the story becomes an escaped slave. It is hard to understand sometimes what he's saying. In front of the book, Twain says he's using realistic accents from various people, and particularly in the case of Jim, I do have trouble understanding a little what he's saying. But I am enjoying it. It does, though, reading as much as The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is a beloved classic, reading it at the same time as Boy's Life, it does suffer a little by comparison, as scandalous as that may sound, because I can really identify with the kids in Boy's Life, but Huckleberry Finn is from a different era, the pre-Civil War era. But I am enjoying it. The other book I started this week is The Lilies by Alexa Donne. This is a book that I picked up on a recent visit to the library. Not super recent because they automatically renewed it twice for me, but my last trip to the library, and I have to get it done by Tuesday so I can return it. And I am quite enjoying it. I would call it a YA dark academia book. There is a very prestigious, exclusive boarding school, and there's 5 girls that go there. They call themselves the Ivies. And the reason they call themselves that is that their goal is to each get into an Ivy League school, and they're willing to do some pretty underhanded things to accomplish that. Haven't got in too far to see too much what those things will be, but it is an interesting premise. A book I'm going to start very soon is My Salary by Sally Rooney. This is the April read for Tia Chu's book club, monitored by Tia Chu. People who watched some of my earlier videos might recall that I wasn't crazy about Normal People by Sally Rooney, so I thought this might be an opportunity to give another chance. The only thing is that even though this is in book form, it's a short story, so I'm not sure it's going to be long enough to really change my mind after Normal People, but certainly it's good to give her another chance. I'll probably give her another chance beyond this, regardless of what I think of this book. But this was a really hard to get book. I couldn't get it on bookshop.org. I couldn't get it on Barnes & Noble. This is both the ebook and the physical book. I couldn't get it on Libby or Hoopla. The only place I could get it was on Amazon. It's only the physical book, and it's pretty pricey, about $10. It was pretty pricey at about $10 for a small book. But I'm interested in getting this one started. It won't take me very long, but we'll see how it goes. Another book I'm going to start soon is My Life as a White Trash Zombie by Dana Rowland. This is the May book selection for Fright Club, monitored by Cliff at Cliff Stark Gems and Chris at Chris_reads. Just by the title, I can tell it's kind of going to be an interesting book. Another book I'm going to start soon is My Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. That is the May read of the Booked and Busy Book Club, monitored by Jamie at Jamie Falk on here. I really did love the two previous Emily Henry books I read, Happy Place and Funny Story, so and I like this one too. The final book I'm going to start soon is The Center by Aisha Manazar Zagiki. It is the May-June read for the Cozy Club, moderated by Stephanie Bookish at Stephanie Bookish on here. There is some more things I'm considering, possibly a book club or two. I really maybe shouldn't do any more, but I'm considering, and I did earlier today. I'm recording this on Saturday, April 26th. I did watch a video by Cindy at With Cindy. She does a Asian readathon for May. I did try to do it last year. I didn't succeed greatly. I think I completed 2 or 3 books and read part of a third or fourth. I made a goal of doing 8, so that was didn't do very well. I kind of decided that maybe short term, and I later decided even long term TBRs don't work too well for me. But I might try to do something for that, even if it's just maybe one of the prompts. I'm not sure. But so those things are tentative, so I'm not mentioning specific. Well, I mentioned those things are tentative, so we'll see. The Wooble I completed is Tiny Hot Cocoa. This is day 10 on the Wooble's Advent calendar. And these little ones can be a little difficult, but I think it came out pretty well. And the one I'm working on now is Batman. Batman should look like this when I'm done. I am partway through the body. Kind of glad doing a big one again. Of course, because I've done several little ones in a row. Of course, nobody forces me to do so, but I kind of want to complete the Advent calendar set. But I decided, I put that aside for now to do Batman. This is one I'm hoping to give to a friend as a present when I get done. I am playing Civilization 7 on the PlayStation 5. As I mentioned in my last video, this game starts 4000 BCE and goes to modern times. You try to build up your civilization. I had, as I mentioned in the last video, I got to 1100 before my civilization was wiped out. I played a second time. I got to around 1840 before my civilization was wiped out. It was kind of my fault because I hit button wrong 2 or 3 times and started wars, which resulted in my civilization being destroyed. I am currently on my third time. Can't remember exactly, but I think it's maybe like about 500 BCE. This game is interesting because on the one hand it's very complex and there's a lot to it, but at least playing on the easiest level, which they call the scribe level, it's very forgiving. Well, you're kind of meandering your way trying to figure it out. You can make a lot of progress, so it kind of is a good combination because you can learn while you're playing and accomplishing things instead of just struggling and struggling and struggling. Other than that, I had a cleaning appointment at my dentist. I had talked previously about a lot of dental work I had done, but now it's maintenance. They didn't see anything new, so I hope that stays that way for a while. It wasn't an enjoyable few months with all the work I had done. Other than that, just did the same stuff I typically do. Walked a couple times at the local mall. Is something sad there. The last remaining place in the food court, one that I ate at, was Charlie's Grilled Subs, and they're closing next Wednesday. So there's going to be a mall with nothing in the food court. I frankly don't know how the mall stays open. The only remaining place to eat is Pretzel Maker, and strangely enough, with nothing else, there's actually 3 pretzel makers there. Not crazy about them, but especially after my long walk, I need to get something to eat. Not that it's particularly healthy, but it gives me something to eat. I'd be interested in knowing how your reading week went and how your week in general went. If you'd like to let me know, please add a comment. I hope you have a wonderful reading week. I hope you have a wonderful week in general. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.